Welcome to the free audio rendering of Not Without Scars 2. Such an insightful and impactful work must be accessible to the countless number of people living similar life experiences. Becoming a best-selling author pales in comparison to creating a tool capable of instilling hope in a multitude of people trapped in the valley of decision. My greatest profit comes in helping others emerge victorious over their life struggles. My goal is to encourage individuals to follow their dream. My message: you must never quit on your faith, pursuing your aspiration or vision. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Take a moment, invite your family, friends, and acquaintances and enemies to listen to this work chapter by chapter. It is free to listen as well as free to subscribe. Peace, love, and phenomenal blessing.
How do I write my life story? I know hurt and pain. I don't like either one, whether physical or emotional. Herein contains my story, Not Without Scars Part 2. Optimism, perseverance, persistence, resilience. 2 decades of personal struggle. Optimism. I faced the new millennium with hopefulness. Perseverance. My ego, my humble beginnings, my desire to achieve never allow me to turn away from a difficult task. Persistence. Opposition should be anticipated as an effective strategy to victory surfaces. Resilience. Difficulties do not automatically spell termination. Scars reveal my imperfection as reminders of past episodes of pain, sorrow, or triumph. Scars can tell beautiful story endings or relay misery that wishes to remain anonymous. This work is meant to help others who have experienced decades of struggle. When struggles appear to never end, you must get through the night and face the challenge of a new dawn with fresh hope.
Section 4, 2007 through 2014, resilience. Time is truly wasting. There's no guarantee. Smiles in the making. You got to fight the powers that be. Got so many forces staying on the scene, giving up all around me. Faces full of pain. I can't play my music. They say my music's too loud. I keep talking about it. I got the big runaround. When I roll with the punches, I got knocked on the ground with all this bullshit going down. Truly, time is truly wasting. There's no guarantee. Smiles in the making. You got to fight the powers that be. I don't understand it. People want to see, yeah. Those that got the answers, red tape in the way. I could take you in easy. That's just half the fun, old boy. Seeking satisfaction keeps me on the run. Fight the power, Isley Brothers. Resilience. The capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, toughness, elasticity, to spring back into shape. No matter the mismatch of the prowls against me, I quickly forge a restoration of faith and strength. Tough-mindedness is key to prospering after applying survival skills. Fluidity manufactures alternatives to defeat. A victorious spirit will always cause an immediate springing back into shape. Difficulties do not automatically spell termination. What happens when pressure is applied exposes toughness. The ability to adjust assures longevity and quality existence. Efforts plus mental soundness produces a positive response. Chapter 16, The Prison Journey, Commencement. Resilience, displayed as a character trait, will be measured by the severity of an ordeal. I have been identified as a person of phenomenal resilience. No doubt about it. I have come through many periods of extreme testing. The resilience factor can be measured in direct parallel to the intensity of a trial. Even more recognizable, the person of colossal resilience must have encountered mammoth opposition. That would qualify as my life anthem. In some instances, I have experienced events or a series of complications which should have ordinarily crushed my human spirit. I have been subjected to atrocities. I perform as a living example that one can arise and climb back into position of progress and stability. Recovery from devastation will be an essential component that can be found in me as a resilient person. Resilience, the ability of a body to regain its original size and shape after being compressed, bent, or stretched. Ability to recover from or adjust easily to change or misfortune. Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Resilience will exhibit a part of my characteristic makeup. Because of many variant encounters, I have had to demonstrate and live a resilient life. Many challenges have changed my political, social, and spiritual state. An arrest, conviction at trial, and imposed sentence were all factors that have altered the scope, shape, and size of my life's direction. My influence within the community was all but nullified by my absence. Facing what could easily be described as a tarnished image, I simply had only my faith and an undeniable zeal for preparation to regain my form. My ability to rebound, rebuild, and revive will always exhibit my unwavering faith in Jesus Christ. I shall live by faith. My personal key in exercising resiliency, I have become cognizant of and satisfied with who I am. Circumstances, labels, location, or situation will never be able to claim the power to define me. I shall reserve that right and exercise that privilege continuously. There will never be a time whereas I shall allow the they or the them to enter my life to redefine me. I shall always defy the axiom that the association will bring on or bring about assimilation. Regardless of what others may see, say, or charge as my essence, I shall incessantly conduct myself as who I have come to know myself to be. This will mean that I shall constantly move toward my future and the vision that has found residence within me. My vision will never be shaped by external oppositional forces. I shall function based upon what will turn deep within me. Historical. All history is current. All injustice continues on some level, somewhere in the world. Alice Walker. I have seen this movie before. I shall never forget the uncontrollable cries and screams of Dreamer the first time I called after the guilty conviction. It was like being at my own funeral. I could not comfort her sobs of anguish. Each day I would think of one member of my household especially. I would recall a special moment and experience an abundance of sadness. Jackie, Sean, Brittany, Dreamer, Madison, and Jasmine. I cannot ascertain the appropriate terms to depict what emotions have occurred upon the abrupt snatching me away from my family. Any type of prolonged separation from my loved one proved to be most painful. The disruption of the mundane family activities or the elaborate family plan far exceeded articulation. Mere words fall significantly short of broaching my emotional temperament. The void created by an abstention from these who had depended upon me manifested a hollowness too incredible to delineate. The hardship imposed upon my wife, children, granddaughter, and other extended family members cannot be overstated. The emptiness brought on by the isolation and separation from a beloved family at times seemed more than enough to crush me. At such a crucial juncture, faith became the operative word in my life. The catastrophe associated with separation increased my prayer life and intensified prayers for my family. Separation can bring a family closer to God, and in some instances, the potential will exist to bring them closer to one another. The bond of the family can be strengthened through adversity. Each member of the family can receive a faith boost. Resilience will be a necessity for my fulfilling the role of a teacher of faith. I should never relinquish nor forfeit my role as provider, directionally as well as financially. The equipoise in this dilemma, faith, shall grow out of adversity. I also ascertain my integrity of character will never be compromised. The love of family cannot be conveyed into words. Love and faith serve as the sustaining power, no matter the circumstances. My family was the abounding foundation that would endure after all hardships. Under the most extreme hardships, resilience empowered me to penetrate the wall that would rob my ability to peer beyond any limitations or restrictions. Through faith, I became an eager receptacle of the revelation that would propel me toward the future. The revelation would not be susceptible to destruction by external forces or persuasion. I cannot allow any set of conditions to paralyze my creativity. Creativity can only be defined as a work of the Spirit. The Spirit can keep my family knitted together. Social, Black experience. God's time, emancipation is always near. He set the North Star in the heaven. He gave me the strength in my limb. He meant I should be free. Harriet Tubman. The journey is long and the steps are short. To say the least, this last period of incarceration, 2007 to 2014, United States Bureau of Prison, had abruptly halted my mobility. Of course, I could not physically move from one point to another. The inability to interact with individuals who had expertise in various disciplines and the non-access to volumes of knowledge were both an obstruction to creativity as well as a monumental loss to contribute to the community. Incarceration had dealt me an immeasurable loss. The isolation had rendered me unable to exchange thoughts and ideas with others who could make a difference. This collateral sanction would never show up in any legal blotter. Censorship of thoughts and information exchange was a particularly forceful exercise in the divesting of freedom. Loss of freedom was an alarm that would propel me to commence immediately to prepare my work outside. That would mean that I had to begin wherever the current physical locus or whatever my emotional state. First, I had to submit to the Lord in order to be used by Him in the transposition and transformation of the physical surrounding that will restrain me physically. Obedience to the Lord would provide opportunities, regardless of the setting, to seize teaching occasion. But foremost, I had to prepare myself to reach beyond the mental and spiritual plane upon which I had operated prior to incarceration. I had made a conscious decision to never strive towards simply getting back to the previous level. I had to prepare for the next phase, expecting a higher plane of achievement. Loss of freedom was a charge to redeem the time. My vision had taken on a higher dimension. I would have to strive toward a new personal summit as well as rise to a fresh vertex in the vision before me. The true battle for freedom started when the key was turned and I was constrained to my space. My physical body was confined, but my mind commanded its freedom to think. The first short step for me, I had to restrict the time my mind would spend on what was lost, what could not be, to what I no longer had access, and how far into the future I could reach. The torment of prison for me was being a creative person. My mind still observed and functioned as if I could make a difference. I had to harness that creativity without stifling who I was. Some may refer to it as a delicate balancing act. For me, it was the war to retain my sanity. It began with me retaining knowledge of my name, Mark Carvin O's, not becoming a number or a statistic. The first 2 years on this journey found me in a daily battle to retain my sanity. It was not a battle about heaven or hell. It was about staying sane in an unnatural setting. Theological, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. Ecclesiastes 3:6, Amplified Bible Classic Edition. Preparation for a venture of uncertainty. Incarceration had removed me from a platform for the public proliferation of ideological espousing. In a natural sense, my immobility would be the indicative of an absence of influence posturing. In reality, I would never forfeit my ability to impact the lives of those with whom I come into contact. Resilience dictated that I had to face realignment of product change. Redeeming the time, I had to move my resilient soul beyond sulking over what was. What was had to be replaced with a present idea that people can embrace. The absence of influence posturing could only occur when I became bankrupt of positive ideas. First, I had to remain strong as well as committed in service to God. Second, I had to stay steadfast in the role of a servant of the people. With these priority arrangements, I could not waste any time musing over the absence of influence posturing, but rather I had to engage in the cultivation of the landscape in preparation for what shall lie ahead. In this sensitive dance, I had to remain mentally sound. A personal key to becoming resilient has been my ability to adjust to a climate and pursue peace. Power can force an individual to submit or adjust to a climate, but power cannot force peace and tranquility. Power, as an instrument of forced behavior, will resonate as the polar opposite of peace. I learned to divest myself of pride when in compromising situations by controlling my emotions. Pride will definitely generate rebellion. Pride will go before destruction. I learned that my character cannot be compromised due to an absence of comfort features. For me, the most important state shall always be my ability to remain creative. In the midst of any circumstance, I sought opportunities for positive action and responses. Spiritually, I experienced contentment through structuring my day around prayer, devotional reading of the word, additional prayer, and the study of the word. Woven between these preeminent allotments of time to Christ, I continually read the information that had a center around academic, cultural, political, or secular themes. Even while in prison, I had quickly learned the need to petition God in order to receive a divine analysis of the data intake. In spite of how unpleasant all else may appear, I had to become content within this structure. With contentment, I could always find a resilient path. A professional Major League baseball player would get labeled a superstar batter for posting a 30% success rate. Flirting with a 40% success rate in a single season, immediate icon status would be assured. Sustaining a 30% success rate for a decade or more would certainly project credentials for first ballot achievement for the Hall of Fame. These statistical standards will proclaim that the rim of the professional shall fail 70% of the time. To some, I have failed more times in life than most other people that they know. That may be true from their perspective. For a just man falls 7 times and rises up again. I shall look to the Lord for my next step. I may be cast down, but not destroyed. Further polling of that same group will reveal I have succeeded in more endeavors than most other people that they have known. The reason? I have attempted more ventures and adventures than most people. This will always be indicators of my resilience. I will no longer view my endeavors that have not met with immediate expectancy as failures. These initial objectives may not have been realized, or the goal may not have been met in the desired timetable. My learning experiences, endeavors, should not be counted as failures unless these efforts should be repeated without gaining any new or additional knowledge. Resilience shall breathe strength, and strength shall be attributed to my being resilient. I was preparing for a future path of uncertainty. I walk confidently in faith toward my destiny.